Well, it's sort of sprung by virtue of my being able to suddenly record at home. I'd been playing and a bit, but not a great deal, but mostly teaching. But then, since leaving my teaching career, I decided to become musically active again. And I owe a lot of thanks to the person that taught me how to use a software package that allowed me to record at home. This wouldn't have happened without my good friend Nick Gilchrist, who taught me out of his own precious time over a few weekends how to use Ableton. So then I was able to record at home, and then the other huge factor has been my relationship and professional connection with Rob Mays and Failsafe Records. And Rob's you could almost call him the patron of BRF, and I think without Rob's support and this knowledge of how to record at home, this would have been impossible. I started flicking Rob some stems of some new material I was doing while he was consolidating the material for the second live album. And we just thought, why don't we do a new album with this material? So that's where we've come from, and we've got a pretty strong album with 12 songs, with 2 or 3 of the older songs rejuvenated. I mean, my music has changed. You know, I sing differently. I sing now more than before. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily any less angry. I think I just channel that energy differently. It's been really, really interesting returning to old songs such as Optimism and Property and Nothing Damaged, which was a song of Dan's that we never recorded as BRF, but which was one of his favourite songs. So I've really felt Dan around for this project, and I know he'd be really, really happy that I'm doing this with Rob. It's been pretty emotional, actually. It's been a good journey, though. I've really enjoyed it. It's been interesting. It's been across from Japan to New Zealand, so it's been quite complex. But generally what I do is I put down a vocal track and a guitar track, and Caroline Esther, our Beat Rhythm Fashions old drummer, will put the drum tracks down. But for the moment, I've developed as much of the track as possible, as much of the song as possible. I've sent it over to Rob. He's importing the files from Ableton into Pro Tools, and then he's remastering and then bouncing back ideas to me. And we've fashioned and built the songs that way. So it's not been a case of sitting down in a room and jamming them out, which is where I used to work. So it's been a completely different process. A global collaboration, absolutely. It's been really good, really interesting. Different way of working, but I don't think the songs have suffered at all, because I've always loved recording. Recording is something that I actually, it's more like a fish just landing in water for recording. It's been unusual, but I think it's been a complex process, but I don't think it's a process that's impacted on the music at all. And in that creative process, what occurs is I'll have the birth of the song or the idea. Well, I'll put the guitar track down, the vocal track down. I'll flick the stems to Rob Ableton. He'll import them into Pro Tools, put a rhythm track from my click track to it, and then we'll develop the song, and then eventually we'll get real drums. So Caroline Esther, original BRF drummer, will get the full package in her headphones, and she's going to put the drums on it. Now, it's going to be a fun journey for her. So it's not a case of sitting down with 3 or 4 musicians and hammering out the songs. It's been a very personal process, this one. I'm in Bellingen, living in a bush block off the grid, actually. It's fully solared. I chop wood and carry water pretty much is my existence at the moment. So 2 converted containers under a canopy, which I built with the help of 2 friends. And in one of the containers is my little bedroom, and I've set up a little studio in there, Boggy Creek Studio. Yeah, so it's in the album you might hear the odd bird twerping away in the background, or a dog barking. It's pretty organic. It's been a fantastic professional relationship with Rob. He might listen to a track and come back to me with some ideas or feedback. It's been jamming across the oceans. Rob puts some bass on some songs, so it's been a lot of input to work them up into a full crystal. There's a few BRF old die-hard friends and you know, fans, you might say, that have an old BRF single from 25 years ago that I think would love to hear what BRF might do now. I'm really speaking to those people, I think. I am in a way doing this for New Zealand. It's quite precious to me, my memories of New Zealand, and I think I'd like to take Beat Rhythm Fashion and what we're doing now back to the homeland and give these people a bit of a listen to the music that I'm doing now. And I'd like it to reach as many people that are interested in listening to the songs. Yeah. I think if you listen to some of the newer songs, and I think Rob would agree with this, is that you can hear Beat Rhythm Fashion, the thread of BRF throughout them. And the other thing is, I think ideologically, the sort of the talk that's going on through the lyric and the discussion or conversation that's occurring is a definite extension of where BRF was directing its energy. We always felt we had something to say and to share, and we were always pretty grumpy, and that hasn't changed. I'm still trying to address questions and just offering it up as a conversation, and I suppose this is a continuing, definitely a seamless continuation of the BRF conversation. Yeah. It's become more beautiful. I think it's still got an edge. I don't like pretty music unless it's got an edge. I love melody, but a melody, I like the clothes to have an edge, and I think there is a definite edge in the BRF material. It might have this beautiful melody, but if you listen to the content of the discussion that's occurring, it's definitely not twee and floaty. And I like that dichotomous sort of that happening, that juxtaposition of melody with, and I think that's definitely swimming in it still. Yeah. The plan is that I'm intending on going over to New Zealand around March. So my hope is that we can have the album ready, work out a release date, and I would like to do a little mini tour, a mini BRF tour while I'm over there. So we'll need to go over earlier and rehearse a band, rehearse the group, do a little mini tour involving the South Island, because it's interestingly enough, the South Island strangely was very important to BRF. You know, Christchurch was where Rob's hometown. Dunedin and Invercargill, although I don't know we get that far, definitely. We loved Invercargill. Very strong for us to do a few shows there. A very short stint, but make it fun, you know. So that would be around March, I don't know. We've still got to lock this up. It feels like good timing. It's a pity Dan isn't around, but it feels like good timing now. It's very good timing for me. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of work, but really, really good fun.